Hi everyone, it's just past the middle of February now, so I'm going to sow my brassicas and also my tomatoes. It's time to get them started now. So, you know, before I've said if you haven't got somewhere you can sort of protect them, hold fire for a bit, because the weather's absolutely horrendous outside anyway. So we'll do the tomatoes first. Seed compost that I'm using is the same as what I've been using this year so far, which is just a mixture of seed compost, multi-purpose, vermiculite. Some of them had perlite in, but more for my garlic had the perlite in. And all it is just this grow show stuff I'm using. I had it left over from last year, so I thought, well, I'll use it up. You know, I put some of the multi-purpose in. As I've said before, it has a bit more fibre in it, so it just kind of helps bind things together. It's not so important with these sort of things when you're pricking things out, but if you've got little cell trays, it helps to sort of keep it all together, you know, when you come to pop the module out. So all these I'm going to be sowing are just going to be sown to germinate, and then they'll be pricked out, which will be probably, I imagine, about 3 weeks, 2-3 weeks, providing everything goes all right. So I've got a few more little trays to fill up with compost. So I'll bring the camera a bit closer in so you can see that. It's not a real fancy way of doing it. So we shall get on with that. Right, I'll just move these ones for the tomatoes out of the way for the moment. I'll get back to them in a minute. So I've got these 3 that I need to fill up for my brassicas. I haven't got a great big tray because that's down the shed, and I don't fancy hiking all the way down the garden for that right now because it's a bit waterlogged. I'm just going to fill these up with compost. You know, don't be frightened of putting plenty in. Sort of give them a level about. And just kind of get your finger, just tamper it down to make sure it's kind of like, you know, going into corners. You can drop them, but sometimes I've had these things bounce and the compost just flies all over the place. So kind of next that I'm going to put in is just going to get sort of skimmed flat to the top. Quick skim off like so. It doesn't have to be too perfect. And then I have a spare one here, an empty one. I'll just use that and press it down, and it kind of ends up about 1 centimetre down at most, maybe even less than 1 centimetre. Right, so that's them 3. I want you to pop them out of the way a second because I don't want to get water over absolutely all my compost. It's a bit easier if you can sort of tidy as you go. And then with these I'm going to give them a quick water now, just to get them sort of, you know, going through okay. You know, so I'll have you know, a good few minutes to drain through. It's not too bad because this is going to be underneath the seed. Bear in mind you've got probably, you know, a good 30 ml of compost beneath that, so it was fairly dry, so don't be too frightened of watering. Right, so that's them done for now. Just place them over there while that sort of soaks through. Put that to the side as well, don't need that for the moment. Right, so we'll do the tomatoes first. I'm just hoping you can see this alright. I'll just move my camera about and get the general gist. Right, so I've got 5 varieties I'm growing. I have sown some already, just some from a supermarket tomato called Piccolo there in the attic under some lights at the moment. They're only tiny, so they might not get planted out. It was just an option at the time. So I'll get my seeds from behind me. I've got Gardener's Delight, Sun Gold, Alicante, Moneymaker and San Marzano. Some of these are old seeds from last year. But tomatoes tend to germinate fairly quick, so I'm not going to go and rip open a brand new pack for everything. I'll do San Marzano first because they're open. Don't know how many seeds I've got in the pack. You know, you can sort of sparingly broadcast these if you wish. But I'm going to try and be a bit sparing with them. So I'll try this little idea that Nigel's got. Well, I had some of these plant labels from DT Browns. I thought it'll save me looking for anything, so I thought, well, I'll give it a go. So I'm just sort of spacing them about an inch apart. It's a bit more than what I need, you know, because I do tend to give quite a few tomato plants away to friends and family. You know, you can grow a lot of the tomatoes outside. You just got to hope for a decent weather, and you might not get as many, but it just proves a point, you know, to someone who's new to gardening, that if you've got a good 10-15 litre pot, bit of compost, you know, a couple of canes in it, as long as it's anchored to the ground, and a bit of a sunny spot in the garden, you know, it's just there's nothing quite like homegrown tomatoes, to be honest. I mean, there's all the picking the suckers out, but I mean, a good variety for starting out is something like I used to grow subarctic plenty, because they just form a little bush and that's your lot. So I don't know how many I've got in there. I've got enough though, enough for what I need. Put the rest back in the pack. So that's the San Marzano. I'm just going to pop that label under there, so I know which is which. Excuse me, I'm recovering from a bit of a cold. It's lingering, it's been a bit stubborn to get going. Moneymaker. I nearly wasn't going to bother doing Moneymaker, but I thought, well, I'll be doing at least 18 plants, so I might as well do a few Moneymaker. You know, sometimes if you do too many garden seeds, you know, tomato seeds and everything, they, you know, or any sort of seed, you just go and see your local garden centre, because if you've got excess, you know, they might let you trade them for something, or, you know, even sell them. I mean, I've had it before where I think I used to get about 60-70p for a tomato plant, you know, and I had about 40 or 50 seedlings, so I thought, well, I'll pot them up, and I had the space to just pop them in the polytunnel for a few weeks, and then took them down and they bought them off me, and they sold out really quick. You know, so if you've got the room, you know, because it all helps towards buying more seeds or more compost, and every little helps, you know, because you're trying to do this as cheaply as you can, you know, and sometimes it is borderline. You know, but the main thing is you know where it's been grown, what it's been fed. You know, because sometimes you can buy stuff off the shelf and you've no idea where it's been. You know, what's in it. You know, not forced grown, not natural. So I think things need to grow fairly naturally, have a good duration of a life outside, to be able to uptake the nutrients properly, to transfer to you, so to speak. So that's the Moneymaker. Sun Gold. I had strict instructions off my missus to grow these, because she'd never had them before until last year. Never tried them. And then once she'd had a few, that was it. Hardly got any. But They are nice. Yeah, they're in F1, so I don't bother saving my own seed of these. The other ones are, you know, I've grown from my own seed many times before. Obviously with the F1 seed you don't tend to get as many. I don't know, it's me, I always find these sungolds when they're growing, they're quite a bendy plant. I tend to naturally want to grow in a curly-whirly fashion. But I don't mind. Still get a good yield off them. A few more MCs. A few more as well, because there's not so many left now. I think you only about 20 seeds, something like that, 15 seeds. So these will go on the windowsill. These will. So I don't have any heated propagators or anything like that. There's some gold. Alicante, it's another one I've grown a lot. I think nearly every year I've always grown Alicante, and I think it's always been, you know, pretty reliable. Plus for a bigger seed to see as well. Yeah, following this plant label seems to work a treat. Knowing my luck, I'll put it down somewhere and I'll lose it. Got a habit of doing that. I've finally put my potatoes out to chip, just up in the spare room for now, because I've not sorted out in the shed for them. So I won't do them any harm for a little while up there to get them started. But I will get them out into light as soon as I can, because I don't want them to be all leggy sprouts. Gardener's Delight. Probably one of my favourites, this Gardener's Delight, because you usually get just loads on it. You know, the other ones I tend to just mix up and put in sauces, freeze it all down, and that'll see me through until the following season, even though I've not got much left, to be honest. God knows how many litres I made, 27 litres or something like that of sauce. It's just handy for doing bolognese and lasagnas and stuff like that, soups. Some of these seeds are not just the Thompson and Morgan ones or the Marshalls and that. You do get them sometimes. The tomato ones they're stuck together, and that's just because when they've been extracted, they've got a little bit of pulp on them still, and it's, you know, they'll stick together. But they're fine. I mean, they're rotten or anything. You know, but obviously things can get a bit clustered up if you get two seeds together, but I suppose it gives you a chance to pick out the strongest one. What I'm going to do with them, simply give them a light covering of a vermiculite. But you know, you can use just a bit of compost sift over if you want. It just, the vermiculite holds, you know, water okay, and not too heavy for them to push through, and also it lets a little bit of light through. I don't use it for everything. You know, and if I didn't really have any here or forgot to buy some, I'd just do without it. You know, I've not always used it. But if it's there and it's cheap enough, I'll get it. I tend to buy it in if it's on at pound shops, I'll get it there, or garden centre I go to, I can get quite a big bag for about £7. And that lasts ages, that. I was going to start my spring onions off, but I'll leave them another week because I'm going to run out of windowsill space, I think. Oh, mud and muck off the bottom of there. In this case, I press all that down before I wet it, really, because it just pushes the seed into the compost below. And then just try not to launch this vermiculite everywhere with the spray. Just give it all a good damping down. You know, as long as they don't get cold or anything, they'll be perfectly fine. I'm going to fine mist this, so I'm not putting loads on. Making sure it's soaked through. Put my labels in before I forget. I've had it many times. I've picked the tray up and moved it, and then you think, oh god, which one was which now? I suppose it's handy when you're videoing it. If it's on shot, you can see then. Right, so I'll just get a seed tray and get them out of the way. But I used to just I've sold them many times just actually in a tray filled with compost and just in lines of seeds. And they just fit in there, them 5. That's all then. Hopefully I'll get enough to germinate for what I need, and then the next phase will be pricking out in a couple of weeks. Right, so I need to get my other bits here now. Might need this tray for this, I think. Keep that green one to the side, be a reason for that. Right, just make sure all these are pushed down. Enough anyway. Just a bit of compost off that one, I think. It's a little bit too proud for me. If I can just get away with dropping the seeds on top, I'll do that. Otherwise it means I've got to dib little holes and whatnot. So these have been pre-watered. Right, we'll start off with some leftovers from last year, I guess. I'll do cauliflower first. I'll get my label ready. I'll do cauli, broccoli, sprouts. I'm going to do some sprouts earlier, normal, some Maximus. The cauliflower is Clapton. I'll probably have to open another pack of these. Which hopefully is just a hand, so yeah, look at that, first pack of grab. Oh, still DT brown seeds. They just saved getting them off umpteen firms. Right, so I'm just going to try and go for more than what I need again, because you can hold them back. Sometimes I've got a little spare bit of ground somewhere. I've not worked out where things are going for definite yet. Sometimes when I think, oh, I'll fill that bed, I'll just go for one crop of it because I can freeze it down. Or if I can't, if I haven't got the space, I'll do an early and a late season. Sometimes you can get 3 crops of it in a year. Especially with the Aquil's broccoli. Because that kind of it's pretty much spot on. If you sow the seed for the Aquil's, so you see me sowing this now, so they'll germinate. I'll pretty much say bang in 100 days I'll be cutting the main head off. It's pretty much reliable that to be kind of on time. So you think, well, maybe 4 weeks before that, so that's sort of the 70-day mark or something like that. Sow some more. Because you can hold them back where you're picking the side shoots and that. And then you can kind of, when they're big enough, pull the old ones out and stick some new plants in again. So that, bear in mind, they've already got a good 30 to 40 days growth in them, so they're only actually out there in 2 months, so you can repeat that process again. And if I can get them in early enough, I find it's very easy to get 3 crops a year, especially the Aquil's. The cauliflower, you might do, maybe not in the same bed though. So these are just planted, but about a centimetre deep, just straight on top of the compost. So, at Golden Acre, I've grown this every year for as long as I can remember. You could call that Primo 2 as well, something like that, just go. But these are coleslaws, stuff like that. It's a good tight head, it's not massive. Because one thing I don't tend to grow, I used to occasionally, was the kale. I'm just not a fan. And it's a shame because it's so sort of robust. And it'll happily sit there through winter. But there's no point growing stuff that you can't stand at all, to a degree. I mean, cauliflower's not a big favourite of mine. But growing things kind of forces me to eat healthier, I guess. So it's a win-win really in that respect. Alright, so what else have we got to sow? I've got another cabbage, I'm not going to do that yet, called Rigoletto F1. I've never grown that before. I'll do that, probably not sow that for a later crop. These are the Brussels sprouts, Maximus. Now, depending on whether these get planted out is a different matter. I'm not sure where I'm going to put these. These might replace my asparagus at the allotment yet. I don't know. But I thought instead of pondering about it, I've got some seeds. I'll get them started and I can put them into bigger pots and that and hold them back, for as long as I need, till I've got somewhere for them or thought it all out proper. I've sown these a little bit closer in some places. Right, so that's all them done. I'm not putting my Mickey light on them. I'm going to get the old sieve out. Give a shake to the old compost tambourine. You know, and they'll get the pots. They'll get filled right to the top. Which that's like a centimetre on top of them. You know, and it's lightly there, so when it's sort of watered down a little bit, because I will water the top of these a little bit, not too much so. I think that'll do for that. Just get this other tray here and just use it to smooth it all over. Make sure everything's got a good covering. I simply get that and use that to just make sure everything's bedded in nicely. And like I said, I will water these just to make sure the seeds are kind of well watered in. I don't need to put as much in because obviously they're watered from beneath. And that'll be for them. Labels. You know, and these will be pricked out, you know, in probably again around 3-week mark. When they get to a good inch high, something like that, is plenty enough. And just pop these in another seed tray. To one side. All the compost back in the bag. Right, so I've got one left now, which is going to be the Mazur. So if you've got beetroot and things like that, and you can start them off in your cell trays if you want, bolt hardy. I'm not starting mine just yet, so I'll give it another week or so. I've got some Mazur, it's already open. So instead of chucking it away, it's still in date, it's been folded up and stored alright, so I'll give it a whirl. I'm just going to lightly broadcast these. It'll end up being way more than I need. Because I grow this as a cut and come again. So, you know, probably 6 plants will be ample. But obviously there's my tortoise to feed. And anyone who's asking, yep, cane is absolutely fine. Is huddled up warm. So he'll be making an appearance in the summertime, if we get a summer. And these are just going to get a light covering. I didn't bother putting a video of chitting my potatoes on because, you know, people have done it, you know, many times, and where I've got them there's just not much room to set the camera up and things like that. So it's just basically, if you look at your potato, you'll have like little eyes on one end. You know, if you're stuck, just put it inside the house somewhere, you know, for a week or something, and you'll start to see little tiny chits growing, and that's the upside most of the time. Or sometimes a little bit hanging off at the other end. That was where it was attached to the main root of the mother plant. As long as you put them in an egg box or a seed tray with the chits pointing up in good light. They have to be in direct sunlight, but with good light, frost free, not too hot, just like a cool room, porch, things like that are ideal. That's some Mazur. So my Mazur will be getting pricked out into a module tray, and all my Brassicas get picked out into individual pots, which will then get planted out in April. You know, so you think like that tray there, small as it is, that's pretty much most of my cropping. for the bulk of the year in there, with my tomatoes as well. So you don't need a lot of space to get started, but obviously it multiplies when you're pricking stuff out. Right, so that's it for this video. Oh, there's the two trays that you've just seen me do. Doesn't take long. So they'll have just a standard propagator lid on. You got the vent control on it, and just simply pop it on, put it on the windowsill or somewhere it gets a good amount of light. You've got to watch it in case you get a really sunny day still, because obviously this on your windowsill and you get a real sunbeam hitting it, it can get quite warm, you know, because it's magnified off your windows and this, so it can get a little bit hot, and certain seeds can cook off a little bit or dry out. You know, if you're at work during the day, it takes a couple of hours to dry that top layer out before the chance, you know, it's had to put some roots out. So say just a windowsill, that's where all my stuff gets started. Yeah, some things I have lights upstairs, but that's occupied at the moment because I've got my big Kelsey onions up there. I might show them on my next video if I can bring them down. They're getting on for 8 inches high, something like that, so they're doing okay. Because I need to start clearing some of that room up there should I want to put my tomatoes up there, which just buys me a little bit of time while it's cold. But like I say, if you haven't got that sort of privilege of having the warmer areas or growing lights and things, just hold off for a couple more weeks and sow them on your windowsills, and then once they're up, give them some daytime outside, and then bring them in at night. Don't risk losing everything through frost. I've done it quite a few times, and it's quite disheartening because you think you've lost, you know, weeks of growing time, to the point where once I had to go and buy a load of plants because it was like May and it got hit by hard frost, and it was my own fault just for not keeping an eye on things. So it does happen, and it will happen again, I can guarantee it, because it's that predictable. You could be in bed through the night not knowing, all of a sudden a random hard pocket frost can come down and wipe everything out. It just happens, you know. But every year you will get something go right, and you'll also get something that'll go a little bit wrong. That's just the way it goes. So thanks for watching, take care, and I'll see you in the next video, which hopefully will be spring onions, first early potatoes in pots for Swift, maybe peas in gutters, and then there'll be maybe some more lettuce and beetroot and things like that, which will be getting sown. I say, depending on if I can find some space to put things on my windowsill to start. I'm not going to mess about making hotbeds or anything like that. That's maybe for a project late in the year. I might consider things like hotbeds and stuff, should I decide to do one, I don't know. So take care, thanks for watching, and if you like the channel, hit the subscribe button, do the thing so you're notified anytime a video comes up, so you click on the bell icon, and that'll just notify you whenever I upload a video. So, you know, sometimes I'll go quiet for a month, but the garden season's like that. You'll get like an initial sowing phase, and then it's kind of like a quiet growing time, and then it comes in phases like that. So but as anything happens, I will keep you up to date. So take care, and I'll see you next time. Bye.